Hello and welcome. It is Marie Hayden from mariehayden.com, and I am doing a follow-up to my weekend in Marrakesh, Morocco, where we were introduced to some foods that were absolutely phenomenal. However, there were some foods that for me do not serve me, and one of those big ones being gluten. So I call myself being glutenized, where on Friday I had no problem with my jeans, and only by a couple days later, which was the day that we did our big food culinary experience with a local family, did I fall apart. Well, let me tell you, when I do gluten, typically what ends up happening is I feel really groggy and sleepy. The next thing that happens is I swell. So I don't know if you guys followed my other video where like clearly I was completely puffed all the way out. So that has definitely gone down. We left Marrakesh on Monday night. So I've been fasting since 7 p.m. I went through till 7 p.m. last night, which was Tuesday. I've gone through till 7 a.m. this morning. So that is now a total of 36 hours. And now it is 4 hours past, 5 hours past that. So I'm at 41 hours of being fasted. Every hour that goes by, my energy goes up. My inflammation is definitely down. Certainly up here, I don't have it. I don't know if you listened to me yesterday, but I also had the whole phlegmy coffee thing going on too. So why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because more often than not, we don't actually realize that we're having symptoms from a food. And the majority of people that I work with over the years, and they start telling me they've got this ache here, and they've got this ache here, and they've got this here, and we can't do this, and we can't do that. And I come up with, well, have you looked at what you're eating? And the amount of resistance that I get with that is like, oh, I can eat everything. And I go, okay, so what are your bowels like? And they're like, right? Like, who wants to talk about their bowel movements? But I need to know, like, do you have them? I myself used to go 5 days as a teenager without having a bowel movement and thought that was normal. You would be amazed at how many people out there also think that that is normal. It's not normal, people. You are supposed to have a bowel movement after you eat. Yeah, exactly. Like, are you eating 5 times a day? Are you having 5 bowel movements? How about, are you eating 3 times a day and you're even having 1 to 2 bowel movements? That's all your gut, okay? So not only am I working on this whole fasting thing to get rid of the glutenize, but I'm also trying to heal my gut. Now, I just went and put foreign bodies in my gut, so I'm not obviously going to be healing my gut right now, so hence the fasting. Okay, I'm zigzagging all over the place. This happens with me, I'm sorry. So let's step it back. I fasted because I was glutenized. I went into a new fast that I haven't really experimented with a lot, which is called a dry fast. No water for 24 hours, no shower, no hand washing, and no, I wasn't out and about for all you freaky germaholics over there. And then I continued on with the fast. Every hour that I'm in this, I feel that much more excitable and energized. And whereas you look back to yesterday and I was very zombie-like. I had the phlegmy thing going on my throat, and I was inflamed. And then again, the jeans, couldn't put them on by Friday, could put them on Friday, loose, and then, but which I should have videoed because you guys probably don't even believe me, but whatever. But now I go to put them on Monday to fly home, and I'm like, yeah, I went from belt holes, okay, there used to be 4. I'm at the last one, and everything's spilling over top. You can't tell me that I've just gained that much weight in that many days. Not only can you not substantiate that, I did weigh myself, and yes, my weight went up, but I'm fasting and it's going and it's gone. So really, you're going to fluctuate that much? No, it's because the inflammation in my body is what's creating the water retention, which is creating the dysbiosis in my gut, which is meaning I wasn't having proper bowel movements. Put on that a little bit of the fruit that I had, which isn't major. I mean, bananas, whoopee. I don't really eat them very much anyways. I had a couple of strawberries, but I'm not into like apples and oranges, and they love their fruit. The fruit is a big thing for them. It's very customary. So let's get to the very point, which is telling you what's going on in terms of my sugars. So when I tested my sugars before, I was telling you that normally after like 24 hours, I'm like in the upper 50s, lower 60s. And at that point, I have to stop fasting, or I have to have a little bit of fat to bring myself back into a regular amount of blood sugar. This morning when I tested, I was still in the 70s, okay? Which is healthy. It's good to be in the 70s, but what it's telling me is that it's taken a long time for my sugars to start dropping down. So that means my liver has started to overflow, and I need to keep working to get my sugars to come down so that I can get into ketosis, okay? So why I'm telling you this is because I want you to clearly understand that the food that we consume isn't necessarily going to be the same food that your friend, your neighbor, your family member are eating. Everybody's body is completely different. So in goes my glucose strip here. And I've taken my little blood droplet and it's peeled there. And I'm just waiting for my little droplet on here to be blinking. And then when it is, I can go ahead and insert my finger at the edge of the tab. So there it is. It'll take a few seconds. It'll start counting down. This will look reversed to you, I'm sorry. And there we are. We're at 76, okay? So like my blood sugar, I'm not hypoglycemic, being at 70 for all those like naysayers out there. However, let's see what the ketosis is doing. So normally your sugar goes down, your ketones go up, okay? So I wanna see if I've budged from 1.2. So again, my little blood droplet goes on the edge of my ketone strip, and we're counting it down, and we'll see what happens here. Our magic numbers, 3, 2, 1. 1.6. Amazing. So anytime you're 0.5, you're going in, so 0.5 and above, you're going into ketosis. Every time you go a little bit farther past 17 hours of fasting, you're creating autophagy, which is a cellular rehabilitation, meaning the ketones are helping you not only get the brain working for fuel versus sugar, but it's like having little scrubbers in your cells, in your fat cells, that go and release toxins. So I'm not sure if I'm going to continue on for the next little bit and go to 48 hours. I'm kind of like at a whatever mode right now. I've actually just picked up a really nice full chicken, and I'm going to be roasting that up and then having some avocado to break my fast with. And again, like the thing about being in a keto state is that it's a natural high. Your body's naturally preparing itself to be able to go out and do things. Whereas like if you looked at me the other day where I was just like unmotivated, can't get going on, phlegmy throat, like how do we want to live in that way? And then people reach for their coffee cup because they feel crappy and they go, okay, well, caffeine will make me feel better. I don't do caffeine. Like, okay, sorry, let's extract that. That's a lie. I don't do coffee caffeine. I will get caffeine from a piece of dark chocolate that's like 85% or better with no sugar, or I might even have the odd matcha. But again, I'm not using it to give me fuel. I'm using it because I like the taste, right? So that aside. So in all of this stuff, I'm trying to educate you in, okay? I spew it a lot and I go all over the place. I know, because I'm super excited, I'm super passionate, and I just have so much to say. I want you guys to learn from me that you can fast safely and effectively for your body, that you're not going to be hypoglycemic just because you fast and you skipped breakfast. That was an old limiting belief that I used to have. That dry fasting does work, and actually you get more benefits from dry fasting, and I'll talk about that in another video. And also the importance of making sure that foods you eat serve you, that you should not be getting any responses like itchy eyes, sneezing, coughing, sore throat, all this nonsense about flu and colds and coughs. It's a toxic buildup. And I'm a living testament, people. 17, I'm 51 years old, and since 17, I've never taken another antibiotic in my life. Do you hear that? My kids are 21 this year and 20. No antibiotics for colds and flus and this and that. It's all their own toxic load. You can clearly watch somebody eat things like I did this weekend, eating gluten, eating those beautiful little bready type crepey things that lovely family made in Morocco. not only was I addicted and couldn't stop eating it because it tasted so delicious and my body was wanting it, but the aftermath was like having an alcoholic hangover, which I also like drink maybe a dozen times, maybe in a whole year. Maybe. I can't even remember the last time I had a beverage. Alcoholic. Okay, so I'm going to leave you with all of that goodness. There's a lot to unpack, okay? Now, know that in all of that, you can go to www.mariehayden.com and you can send me a private message and I can dialogue with you about some of the things that I've talked about in this video. There's a lot to unpack. I'm talking about glutenized. I'm talking about dry fasting. I'm talking about intermittent fasting. I'm talking about long fast. There's a lot going on. I'm talking about autophagy and your gut dysbiosis. So blah, 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 blah. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I look forward to continuing helping you achieve your best life with intermittent fasting. www.mariehayden.com. I hope to see you soon. And if you want to hear more about my different videos, you can go ahead and hit the subscribe button, which I always forget to tell people, and do a little like. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye.